I watched Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. Narrator's note, it was not the final chapter. And I was expecting more of Chapter Three's Nothing Burger, but I was pleasantly surprised. Tom Savini came back for this one. Corey Feldman is doing a bang up job. Crispin Glover is being the closest approximation to a human he is capable of. Everyone is actually trying, and it is a coherent story. We get the standard recap at the start of all the previous movies, in case you forgot Jason existed. And 15 minutes in, we get interesting kills. Thank God. A coroner and a nurse are taken out. Jason saws the coroner's neck in half before ripping his head off, which is frankly an aggressive way to announce that you're back. And for the nurse, well, I like a hand necklace as much as the next girl, but Jason always manages to take it too far. This really sets the tone for the rest of the kills, and I am so happy for it. Now, why is Jason here? Why is he alive? Who knows? It doesn't matter. Quit asking. This story is basically split between two groups. We have the random group of young adults drinking and doing drugs and the sex at a cabin in the woods, and the Jarvis family, whose house is right across the way from the young adults. I was not expecting this, but I actually cared about the Jarvis family. We have Tommy, a very smart, weird little boy, and his big sister and his mom. And I actively cared if they lived or died. It gave me real emotional investment. Ugh, disgusting. Tommy, especially, is a very interesting little kid because he's not just a normal little child. He makes masks and is really into creature effects and special effects. It's very interesting. And then we get Rob, a random hitchhiker who's not that random, shows up and is like, cool, competent man with a knife energy. Finally, someone who looks like they know knows what's going on. And of course, he is here because of Jason, and he's basically says, I have 12 minutes to explain 3 movies worth of mythology and then also die. The explanation is basically Jason is not normal, Jason is here, Jason is bad. Thank you, Rob. You've somehow delivered exposition and absolutely no information at the same time. Very useful. Now, the teen relationship drama, I'll just say it, I did not care. They are basically loud guy, jealous boyfriend, girl who will absolutely die in 8 minutes. But I will say they are useful. The movie uses them like a conveyor belt to space out Jason encounters. They're not characters, they're timing devices. If you shuffled their names around halfway through the movie, I genuinely would not notice. And yeah, the sexual content in this is very. We were contractually obligated to include this. And I get it, it's a slasher thing, but watching it nowadays, it's just like, why is this here? Oh, right. Genre expectations. It actually does one thing well, though. It makes everyone feel exposed and vulnerable before Jason shows up. It works structurally. Even if emotionally I'm sitting here like, can we move on already? Now, here is the big upgrade. Jarvis Jason actually looks like Jason now. He's big and slow and deliberate and no longer feels like a guy in a costume trying to find his blocking. He feels like a problem that occupies space. And I think that's why this movie, or one of the reasons this movie works better than part three. Because now when he enters the scene, it doesn't feel like, here he comes. It's like, oh, the environment has changed and we are in danger. Now, is there any explanation as to why he's alive or if he's undead? Shut up. Stop being a nerd and just enjoy Jason throwing people through furniture. Tom Savini came back, and suddenly the kills have weight again. We're talking clean staging, readable geography, actual impact. The harpoon to the crotch? Unhinged. I loved it. Jason crushing people's heads with one hand? Yes, please. The final act in the Jarvis house is where the movie really locks in. Jason comes in through windows and doors, anywhere really, and suddenly the house stops being a safe space and becomes a map of vulnerabilities. And I was fully invested. Tommy is over there trying to figure out Jason's behavior patterns, and the sister is actually holding her own, and the mom? Hmm, I just wanted her to survive long enough to yell at Jason like a disappointed parent. Young man, put down the machete. And then the movie ends with this weird implication that Tommy might be becoming like Jason, which is silly. Like, I get what it's going for, like trauma echo, psychological imprinting, but it doesn't fully land as a transformation, which is also fine, but it's a little dramatic. So, overall, was this movie good? Well, I had a good time watching it. And I will say this is the first Friday the 13th where I wasn't checking my watch in between murders. I was invested in what was happening, and I actually was watching the situation and structure. That alone makes it way more interesting than I was expecting. And also, Crispin Glover. I still don't understand what I just watched him do.